on the line right now. Her name is Carol Cline Sherwood. And I don't know about anybody else, but we were huge dedicated viewers of Making a Murderer.
Yes, on Netflix.
And Stephen Avery, I really believe through...
I didn't know it. I did not know it.
I really believe through all of this, he and his nephew were
Yeah, they were given the raw deal.
completely given the wrong deal. And Carol Cline is... All right, Carol, in a nutshell... Good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
In a nutshell, you're in Texas. Tell us who you are and what you're doing here, and then I'm going to walk you through this so we get as much information as we can in about 10 minutes.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm a, what you would call an armchair detective, but that's just on the side. Co-researcher and I have done a lot of research on the case. My normal life, if you will, is I live and work in East Texas and sell metal buildings. So that's kind of who I am. I mean, there's, no reason other than I got curious after Making a Murderer and just started digging into the case. And that's why I decided to, get into it. I didn't believe one way or the other.
Yeah.
Went in with eyes wide open, and I started my research journey in January of 21.
I got to tell you, I can't believe how... take the nephew, for instance. How they actually walked him through this. His own attorney... And the state just looked at it like, oh well, we still think they're guilty.
Yeah, or there was somebody pushing for that conviction.
Yeah, it to me was something like we've never seen in the court system before. But you have found now there was a woman who was raped and killed. They believe that Stephen Avery burned the vehicle, right?
Right. Well, no, they didn't say anything about burn the vehicle.
Okay.
The vehicle was found on his property.
You're right. It was found on his property. You're absolutely right.
Correct.
So, but you feel that you have found a discrepancy on the vehicle that was found on the property, and explain what you found. It's a VIN number that is what you feel is the smoking gun.
Well, it's one of the smoking guns. There's a lot of bullets in this smoking gun,
Yeah.
I will tell you that.
Yeah. All right, explain.
Okay, so what I sent you a picture of was the chassis wall that just happened to be on a picture taken by the State Patrol, and it wasn't a close-up picture. It was actually, from standing in front of the car. When you zoom in, all you see are the last four digits, which they refer to in the trial, 3044, constantly. There is a legitimate digit underneath that number 3. So I got to working with some programs that reflected different lighting levels and stuff, and you could tell those last digits were altered. So that chassis VIN, in my opinion, has been altered. Okay,
Wow.
So that's huge. That's where I started, and I didn't go looking for it. What bothered me is there's no clear pictures of the VIN in this case. Why would that be? The car's the main piece of evidence. They're all blurry. There's a couple you can make out. You can see the numbers, but it's just too blurry. I mean, there's a VIN plate on a car. Why not just snap a picture of it?
Get a good picture of it.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a requirement?
They require every other part of they photograph every other part of the vehicle.
And when they say to you, I'm sure they say, well, you're going after stuff that's not real. These are little details. Listen, it's little details that put Stephen Avery behind bars.
Yeah, but let me tell you, what put him behind bars is the DNA, and it's because of the blood and the DNA found in and on the car.
Yeah.
The car's the central focus, but let me tell you if you want to know smoking gun, I'll tell you the smoking gun.
Okay.
I sent you an email last night, the DOT record, which is a trial exhibit 4. It's the victim's vehicle history, not the driving record. You would think that would be something that is nothing, minor in a case. Her DOT record has been falsified. Why? It's a vehicle history. There's
I'm looking at it
nothing
here.
there except for your registration of your tag. So why alter it? But it's altered. We've proven that it has been faked, and that's a federal offense.
So,
And the reason I
yeah.
say that is,
Go ahead.
is because both of us have made calls to the DMV. We found out that Teresa Halbach's vehicle record at the DMV was, and this is their word, purged shortly after 10/31 of 05. The
Teresa Halbach is
investigation
the
hadn't
victim.
even begun.
She's the victim, yeah.
She's the victim, yeah. So the
So,
investigation hadn't even begun.
have you gotten any reaction from people in Wisconsin?
I've gotten a lot of reaction online. I've been told I'm full of nonsense.
Yes.
I've been-
Leave it to the
been told a lot of
professionals.
things.
Yeah, leave it to the professionals. Yeah.
But guess what? You know what? When you start digging and you find one thing and it starts leading to other things, that you've got to ask the question. The photo, there's a photo of Teresa standing beside her RAV4 that's been altered. Why do you need to alter a photo? If you've got a picture of her, you do. If you don't, you don't. Why
That's
alter
exactly
it?
right. Right. Why would you alter it?
So there are things there. I mean, we have a monumental amount of evidence. The license plate. The license plate is the whole reason behind the dot record. It's to support the license plate. Ironically, there's a report, and this won't make a lot of sense right now, but it's an FBI search report that when they closed out this case on November 17th, like the missing person, missing car.
Yeah.
So the NCIC report pops up a warning on November 17th when they close it that says, warning, this record contains expired plate data. Okay, no big deal. Teresa just renewed her license plate 6 weeks before she went missing. What are the expired plates? And we called the FBI. We called one of the offices and said, can you explain why this would pop up? And they said, well, it's referencing expired plate data, but that is strange. They thought it was strange.
It amazes me that you find these little inaccuracies, which are really big. I don't want to discredit them by any means. But
Right.
when you look at what he was convicted on, it was little pieces of evidence.
Yeah.
Now the belief was that blood was planted in the vehicle. Isn't that
Correct.
the belief?
Yeah.
So if that can be true, why aren't these other things relevant? Why aren't these other things brought in?
Well, it's about
court?
bringing in reasonable doubt into the
Correct.
picture.
It adds reasonable doubt, and it may have changed everything. And then there's the nephew, which is a whole different story.
Correct.
He currently has an attorney. They're still working on getting him out. The Innocence Project, by the way, feels he should be released, right?
Are you talking about the nephew?
Yes. No, talking about Stephen Avery.
Well, both of them, I was going to
Yeah.
say, they both have the Innocence Project working for them, but I believe Brendan's appeals have run out, so he's kind of sitting. But, the information that Annie and I found, we're convinced 100% that if you look at it as a whole, and like I said, we've got mounds of research,
Yeah.
it will walk them without a trial.
All right.
Because who's going to answer the question, who would change a dot record? Who's going to answer that?
This is like
And what's the purpose?
Only Murders in the Building. She has a YouTube channel, which I'm going to put up today and let people check you out, all right? And she has a YouTube channel, and you and this other person are digging in like real-life sleuths, real detectives. And they're presenting this evidence, and it's hard to ignore it. I got to tell you, it's very hard to ignore it. Carol, I hope we can do this again, and I'm going to send everybody to your YouTube page, all right?
Thank you so much, because it needs to get out there. It's
It
time.
does. Okay.
And Stephen knows. So Stephen knows, and he has stamped his blessing on get it out there.
All right. Thank you, Carol.
Okay, thank
Have a
you
great
for
day.
having me.
All right. Have a great
You
day.
too. Bye-bye.
W